This is Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing. You are watching Sporting Icons. You don't need to be anywhere else.
Alright, thank you Cinderman for forward on this article. So, as a lot of you guys may or may not be aware, Eddie Hearn Matchroom have signed a 8-year deal with an initial 4 years for $8 billion over the 8 years. So it's $500 million for the first 4 years, $500 million for the second, $125 million per year. And of course, Anthony Joshua is not part of this deal at all. So if Dazn Perform Group want Anthony Joshua on their bill, then, or as in exclusive rights, because at the minute Anthony Joshua has exclusivity to Sky Sports in the UK, but for the American market he's not exclusive to HBO, Showtime or anybody else. So basically he can flit in between each one, and Dazn want Anthony Joshua. Now Simon Denyer, who is the chief head or whatever it is, the chief executive of the Perform Group, which is part of Dazn, and of course he is backed by a billionaire in Len Blavtinic, and they are saying that they want Anthony Joshua. So when the time comes for Anthony Joshua to step foot in America, they want to be the platform that shows all his fights. So of course Eddie Hearn's $1 billion is going to go up just to get Anthony Joshua. And anyway, this is what Denyer told Boxing News at the Manhattan announcement. Is Joshua a target? Absolutely. Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn need to decide what they want to do. They hold all the cards. He's selling out 90,000 seater stadiums in the UK, so there's no reason to come to the US yet, but eventually he wants to. Anthony and Eddie are planning their own path now, but if they want to come to the US, we are absolutely adamant that we are the home of boxing here now. We have a huge budget and we want his fights to be on Dazn. And of course that is entirely up to him. As far as the subscriptions go for all the US people, of course, it's already over in Canada, Germany, Austria, Switzerland and Japan and whatever. And Denyer said this about it: we're not going to confirm the price yet, but the model is pretty clear. It's one sensible price, no contract, free for a month and then rolling. In Germany it's €10 for all that content. It's the price of a beer and a half. People don't turn off. I'm not going to mention that at the moment, but we have internal targets. We've done a lot of research, and although it's not as popular as baseball or the NBA, we think that in America there are at least 10 million what I would call hardcore boxing fans that would watch boxing regularly. The problem is it's not that regular, and the big fights that are on are often cost $100 per pay-per-view. America is a home of boxing and always will be. So that was Denyer's statement there. Well, I can disagree with him on one point, that boxing is not always going to be the home of America. It has been the home for many, many years, but of course the platform and everything has changed, and it's now currently in the UK, where the eyes of the boxing world look to the UK. If the fighters want the huge paydays and all that kind of thing, they look towards the UK. But with Eddie Hearn now going to America, maybe the tide will switch back again. Maybe. Who knows? Because not just because Eddie Hearn is going to resurrect boxing and all this kind of thing, but he's going to contribute, no doubt, along with Showtime, PBC, along with Top Rank, Golden Boy, etc. Because what's going to happen is now Eddie Hearn's going in there with all this money, all this clout. He's going to be putting pressure on the other promoters to up their game. Ultimately, they're going to have to put on bigger, better shows with bigger main events, better undercards. That's only going to benefit the boxing purists. And especially in America, where a lot of people are switching away from boxing, turning to MMA. I'm not into MMA myself, but I know a lot of people are, and they're kind of fed up of boxing because they're not getting value for money. And, you know, pay-per-view over there is come to a rarity because they don't really have any kind of fights over there that are pay-per-view worthy. But with Eddie Hearn going over there with his Matchroom USA, as I said, that's going to put a lot of pressure on the other promoters, and of course pressure on him to perform, pardon the pun, with Perform Group, but that's what he's going to have to do. So for him to get Anthony Joshua, again, it's not part of the deal, but of course any fight that Sky Sports are showing here in the UK, so if Anthony Joshua, for example, will take on Deontay Wilder here in the UK, that would be a Dazn worthy event. But if the fight happens on American soil, at the minute, it's not going to be part of Dazn. It could be part of HBO, it could be part of Showtime. I would imagine probably Showtime, if it is going to be pay-per-view, of course. But here in here in the UK, for Sky Sports subscribers, what have you, we get to watch that fight anyway. So it'd be interesting to see what kind of money are they really going to put up for when Anthony Joshua decides to make his US debut. Could that be against Wilder next? Potentially. Obviously, we don't know how legitimate this $50 million offer is. And if it is real, we're presuming that that's going to include that the fight must happen in the US. But they are working on something that's meant to be pretty close to an announcement. We don't know. Maybe this whole 50 million was just a smokescreen to try and get Eddie Hearn and Matchroom to up their offer to Deontay Wilder from the 12.5 million flat fee to maybe a percentage or more basic money, whatever it may be. We don't know. Time will tell exactly what's going to happen with that one. But where people are saying that Anthony Joshua pretty much is backed into a corner where he has no choice but to accept this $50 million, you all seen my last video, right? Where he's signing a £100 million extension to his Matchroom contract. While 50 million is nothing to be snubbed at, I don't think he's too concerned about it. You know, what's that 50 million going to mean for him? Oh, well, I don't know. Maybe an extra trip to the supermarket. Who knows, right? But either way, Joshua is in a excellent position. He really is. And with DAZN, they're going to outbid whatever it is that HBO offer Anthony Joshua. DAZN are going to improve that offer, no doubt. So anyway, drop your thoughts below, click that thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll catch you all on the next video.